for the second term. Today we are stepping into another term in this academic year. Are you all happy? Yes? Very good. Students, now let me ask you some questions. Do you all love history? Yes? How many of you like to learn or like to study more about history? What does it mean by history? The records of the past. Nothing but the records of the past. Yesterday what happened is today's history. So, do you know about our Tamil literature or our people who lived before 1,000 years or thousands of years? How our ancient India looks like? Is it look like today's India? No. Once upon a time, people lived with nature. People lived with nature, but today we are moving away from nature. Once people lived with nature, today we are moving away from nature. Why? We are destroying all the natural resources one by one. Before 10 or 20 years, all these areas were like forests, but today we have constructed so many buildings. So we need to build houses, we need to build so many constructions like schools, colleges, shopping malls. So every day we are destroying the nature. God has created all these to enjoy, not for His enjoyment, for our enjoyment. But what we are doing, we are destroying the nature. Do you know what are the hazards or what are the harms we are creating for nature? We are cutting all the trees. Now, most of the animals and birds are under endangered list. Why? Who is the reason behind all this destruction of natural resources? We people. If you go into a forest, what are the animals and birds you can see there? We could see a lion, tiger, we could see peacocks and a lot many variety of birds. But today, everything, almost all the creatures are endangered. We are not thinking about nature. Now, global warming is one of the hot issues. Icebergs are melting, ozone depletion, pollution, everything are all man-made disasters, not natural disasters. And there's a belief that by 2050, we will forget Kanyakumari district, which means Kanyakumari district is going to, it will go under the sea. That's what a belief by scientists. I'm not sure what will happen in 2050. Okay. Why am I talking about all these nature and natural resources? Today we are going to learn a lesson. Here we are going to learn about an environmentalist, or we can say as naturalist. He has more concern towards nature, especially on birds. Okay, so it is our responsibility to take care, to protect our environment. But what we are doing, instead of protecting our environment, we are destroying the environment. Last week, I hope you all watched a video clip where an elephant was tortured by a servant in a hotel. Did you see that? That elephant was dead because that man, that servant poured a can full of petrol on that elephant and he burnt that elephant. Why? Because that elephant came or entered into that hotel. That is the reason. But people are destructing the forest, and it is the way for the elephant, it is not for the people. cell phone towers. So sparrows are declining. The number of sparrows are declining day by day. So each and every creatures in the world are endangered now except human beings. Am I right? Okay. Students, it's your responsibility to protect our environment for the future generation. Will you all do it? Okay. Now let's go into the lesson. Let's see what is the title, what is the topic, and about whom we are learning and about what we are learning. Are you all ready? The title of the lesson we are going to learn today is M Krishnan, Nature's Spokesman. What is the title? M Krishnan, Nature's Spokesman. This is written by Ramachandra Guha. Who is the writer? Ramachandra Guha. Let's learn something about this Ramachandra Guha. Ramachandra Guha is an eminent historian and he is well known for his books on Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. He has written so many books on or about Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. And he has written many books on various subjects like environment, politics, cricket, and also social issues. And he got most prestigious awards like R.K. Narayan Prize. R.K. Narayan is one of the famous Indian writers. Okay, R.K. Narayan Prize, the Padma Bhushan, and the Sahitya Academy Award. And I'll give you an assignment to search more about Ramachandra Guha. Who is he, where is he from, and about his works. Will you do it, students? Okay. Now let's see what is there in this particular lesson. M Krishnan, Nature's Spokesman. Here, Ramachandra Guha, the writer, is talking about one of the environmentalists. His name is M Krishnan, Madhavaiah Krishnan. Who is he? Madhavaiah Krishnan. This Madhavaiah Krishnan is the youngest son of a famous writer, A. Madhavaiah. Okay. Here, now let's see at first how he began this particular prose. This is not a story. This is an essay. This is like an article. Okay. Here, Ramachandra Guha and his wife, they both are discussing about people who admired them. We all admired by somebody like film actors or actresses or cricket players or any great leaders. We all admired by them. Right? Like we are their fans. So what is mean by admire? Now his wife is saying that I am a fan of Manjula Padmanabhan. Manjula Padmanabhan is also a famous writer in India. So his wife is saying that I was admired by Manjula Padmanabhan, and Ramachandra Guha is saying that I am admired by M Krishnan, Madhavaiah Krishnan. So here he is talking something, he is introducing who is Madhavaiah Krishnan and what he did. Okay. At first he is saying that Madhavaiah was a writer in Tamil, in our mother tongue Tamil. Madhavaiah is a famous writer. He wrote in Tamil. And he grew up in Chennai, Mylapore. And he was the youngest son of a novelist and social reformer, A. Madhavaiah. So who is the father of M Krishnan? A. Madhavaiah. M Krishnan, Madhavaiah Krishnan. Next, this Krishnan's last work is a detective novel which was published in Tamil. And it was published posthumously. What is meant by posthumous? if a work published after the death of the writer, after the death of a writer, if the work is published, then it is posthumous. They have given the meaning for posthumous in your textbook. Take page number 82. Posthumous, happening, done or published after a person has died. So after the death of Krishnan, his detective novel was published. And it was published by Theodore Bhaskaran. Theodore Bhaskaran has published his work. And the title of this particular work is Malaikalamum Kuilosayum. So this Theodore Bhaskaran published a collection of essays written by Krishnan, and the name of that collection is Malaikalamum Kuilosayum. So this Krishnan, now we came to know that this Krishnan is a famous novelist. Now, Ramachandra Guha is giving more information about this person. He is also a photographer. Who is also a photographer? M Krishnan is also a wildlife photographer. And the camera he used is not like the camera we have today. And that camera is a collection of pieces. And so he called this camera as Super Ponderosa. So he called this camera as Super Ponderosa. Why? It is a collection of pieces. Its lens they bought from East Germany, and its cap and shutter from Malaysia, its nuts and bolt from Burma Bazaar. So he called this particular camera as Super Ponderosa. Now, some of his photographs. So he is a popular wildlife photographer. How many of you have the interest in photography? Many of you have the interest in photography. Photography is also a skill. You can develop that skill. So here, as a wildlife photographer, he took so many photographs, and its collection was published in the year 1985, and its title is Nights and Days. Again in 2006, I in the Jungle, as the title I in the Jungle, they published the photographs taken by M Krishnan. So M Krishnan is a novelist as well as a wildlife photographer. Till this, can you understand, students? Okay. Now, Krishnan, we learned that Krishnan is a novelist, is a wildlife photographer. Now Guha is saying that Krishnan is also a marvelous prose writer. He has written so many prose in English. He wrote novels in Tamil. He wrote prose in English. And one of the prose was published in this magazine called The Statesman. Guha got an opportunity to publish some of his works of Krishnan, and he entitled it as Nature's Spokesman, M Krishnan and Indian Wildlife. It is all about Indian wildlife and M Krishnan as a nature's spokesman. Is that clear? Students, what is the title of the lesson we are learning? M Krishnan, Nature's Spokesman. This was written by Ramachandra Guha. Here, how he began this prose piece? He is saying that this Ramachandra Guha and his wife, they are discussing about the people they admired. His wife is saying that I was admired by Manjula Padmanabhan. Manjula Padmanabhan is a famous Indian writer. And our Ramachandra Guha is saying that I am admired by M Krishnan. So this M Krishnan is one of the pioneers in the field of environment protection, or as a naturalist he is one of the pioneers. What is Pioneer is the person who take the first initiative on something. So he is a naturalist, which means there are so many naturalists are there in this world. He is one of the pioneers, which means he is one of the people or one of the person who took initiatives in this system or in naturalism. Okay, so here this Ramachandra Guha is talking about M Krishnan. In this lesson he is saying who is M Krishnan, what he did. Alright. Ramachandra Guha got so many awards like R.K. Narayan's Award, Sahitya Academy Award and Padma Bhushan Award. M Krishnan is a famous novelist, essayist and a wildlife photographer. He is remembered for his photographies, wildlife photographies. M Krishnan is the youngest son of A. Madhavaiah. Young Krishnan has written so many novels in Tamil. He took wildlife photographs and he is famous for his wildlife photography. He also wrote so many prose pieces. Some of his works were published posthumously. What is meant by posthumous? We did something after the death of the person. Here, posthumous published works, which means after the death of young Krishnan, somebody else will publish his works. So that is called posthumous works. Is that clear, students? Shall we read the text? Okay. All of you take your textbook. Page number 81. Take page number 81. M Krishnan, nature's spokesman. My wife and I were recently discussing people we admire. High on her list was the artist and writer Manjula Padmanabhan. And high on mine, in fact on top of it, was M Krishnan, likewise an artist and writer of varied gifts and originality of expression. Krishnan was, among other things, an accomplished writer in Tamil. He grew up in Mylapore in Chennai, the youngest son of the celebrated novelist and social reformer A. Madhavaiah. Krishnan's own last work was a detective novel in his mother tongue. What is his mother tongue? Very good, Tamil. A posthumous collection of his Tamil essays, edited by the scholar and naturalist Theodore Bhaskaran, has been published under the title Malaikalamum Kuilosayum. He was also a very talented wildlife photographer. The camera he used was called Super Ponderosa. It was put together from pieces garnered from here and there, a lens from East Germany, a cap and shutter from Malaysia, nuts and bolts from Burma Bazaar, the lot held together by some neighborhood string. But it and he took staggeringly good pictures. Who took good pictures? M. Krishnan. Some are represented in a 1985 collection called Nights and Days. Others, better still, in a book put together in 2006 by Ashish and Shanti Chandola and T.N.A. Perumal, carrying the title I in the Jungle. So most of the photographs taken by M. Krishnan were published under the titles Nights and Days and I in the Jungle. Then again, Krishnan was a marvelous prose stylist in his adopted language, English. Growing up, I spent many enjoyable hours in his company reading his fortnightly country notebook column in the Statesman. Much later, I had the privilege of making a selection from essays he had published over 50 years. This book was published in 2000. It is called Nature's Spokesman, M Krishnan and Indian Wildlife. Students, today I am giving you some homeworks. The first is you have to find out what is meant by environmentalism and what is meant by naturalism. Okay, and search or browse more information about M Krishnan and Ramachandra Guha. Is that clear? Students, I hope you all have understood our today's class. See you all in the next class, students. Until, take care. Thank you.